Hey YouTube, good day. It is a fine day indeed. Just showed the video from earlier this morning, some of the snow we got, and I wanted to venture a little further up the hills, and they've probably got almost a foot up here, so it's looking pretty good. Supposed to get a couple more inches tonight before it starts to clear up and return to a more normal state, but lots of water coming down, which is good for us. I want to get some walking in since I had the opportunity, and just enjoy what we got here. But I did want to talk about a couple of things with this situation that we have going on. And we've got a lot of small SHTFs spread out across the area. You know, you want to look at some case studies. Just look at our situation right now and how it's affecting different communities. There's several communities, towns even, that are basically cut off. Town of Truckee has they've ceased all mail deliveries there into the North Tahoe region. So who knows what other supplies that's affecting, but the 80 has been closed more. I think it wasn't just this month, but I think over the last period time span, or since the winter started or something like that, the I-80 has been closed more at Donner Pass than in the previous X number of years. So supply disruptions, who knows how that affects commodity prices and stuff like that. It might even be affecting us over here. I just haven't looked into it as much. But you got that going on up there. The town of, community, Olympic Valley, which is where Squaw Valley was under a avalanche evacuation order, which I don't know if that's ever happened in a long time at least. So basically, the community that built up around Squaw Valley was I think it was a voluntary evacuation. It wasn't like a mandatory thing, but they were advising it due to the avalanche concerns in that greater area, which was interesting. Again, I don't know if that's ever happened. They have a lot of avalanche control they can put in place with the ski resort and everything, but they just might about be outmaneuvered by the amount of snow that's come down. I think we're working on close to 15 feet up there since this started back in Friday, or something like that. So people having their kit ready to go. In Truckee, you have supplies saved back for supply disruptions. The little things. Like I say, it's the little things that'll get you killed or that'll get you through. Another one that's taking place up there in the mountains. The Kirkwood ski area, a much smaller community, out on the 88 Bass Carson Pass, if you want to look at it on the map. Completely isolated, completely shut off for about 2 days now. I guess they're down to just their last little bit of fuel because they have their own power generation for just these occasions and for other disruptions. But I guess they're on their own power supply, and they're about out of fuel to run that generator, about out of diesel, I would imagine. So they were working diligently to get some supplies up there, because the road up through Carson Pass wasn't open. I guess they've been plowed in quite a while, and there's been no truck that's been able to get up there since this whole mess started to actually resupply them. So who knows what else they're short of. I don't think they're short too much, because on their Facebook page, one of the weather guys from a local TV station, they were hanging out in the bar last night with the social media guy from Kirkwood, having a good old time. So they didn't seem like they were too concerned. which is good. But just goes to show, I'm pretty sure Kirkwood's prepared with a large stock of fuel, but I think they got like 300 people up there between part-time residents and staff that got snowed in when this whole thing started. And I'm not sure what the food situation is, but apparently they have plenty of alcohol but little fuel. So maybe some mismanagement on the supply side. So there's a couple of examples there. The town of, it's up by Pyramid Lake, Sutcliffe is completely cut off. They're having to get water to it because their water and sewer was knocked out by the flooding. And now today they had limited access because of the snow that came in and made any workaround routes difficult as well. So all kinds of little stuff going on. Virginia City was basically cut off. I think they have one route in right now, whereas they usually have 3 or 4. But they've all been either mudslides, washouts, chain controls, no reliable routes for a good period of time. So it's interesting how those things just creep up, especially over, this has been a sustained trajectory up here that we've been dealing with since basically a week. We had, I think it was last Wednesday night when the first snow came through, and then it warmed up. Second part of the storm came through, pounded us with rain all weekend down to a certain level. At even, I think, a snow level was up, or the snow level, rain level, however you want to look at it, was up around 9,000 feet, causing tons of avalanche kickoffs, because not only was it snow up high above that, but down low the rain loosens up the snow, kicks it off, mudslides, just a mess. And it's been sustained since last week through the period of time between rain, snow, snow again. It's just causing a multitude of problems that you really just can't get ahead of. So it really can't emphasize enough how all these little events can test your preparedness to the extreme level, I guess, if you're in especially in some of these other hard-hit areas. But there's people isolated in homes that basically they got local flash flooding when all the rain hit down low, or rain was up high, melting the snow down low, all conglomerates in the channels, hitting houses that hadn't been hit in years, new residents because they just moved in, their house is flooded, they weren't expecting it, like totally not ready for any of that eventuality. So finding out the history of your area if you move would be high on your list, I would hope, as an example. There's a ton of examples. I put some links in my other video earlier. I'll put some more down below. You can just pull those little vignettes out and find some lessons learned for yourself, I'm sure. But definitely a ton of stuff going on at the individual level for people that has ruined a lot of people's year, I'm sure. But it's supposed to clear up here shortly, so that's good. And while you have these little stuff, little SHTFs going on, you've got the El Presidente trying to start World War III, sending armored troops and stuff into, I should say armored vehicles, into countries bordering Russia and Poland. I think someone went to the Baltic states, and just today they talked about someone going to Poland, which Russia takes as a direct threat. Pretty much the way we took it when there were Russian troops and missiles in Cuba. So take that for what you will, but they keep trying to push the party line in the media and in a lot of other places that we're responding to Russian aggression. Yeah, not so much. When Russia went into the Crimea, they did so by annexation. They got the support of the people. Most people there speak Russian, as a matter of fact. I mean, there's a long history there. I mean, again, it goes back to the video I did almost 2 years ago. I think it's over 2 years ago now. It's all started with the Ukraine and the European Central Bank trying to undermine them and take over the country. And you can go back, I'll put that link down there just to show. And Pastor Joe Fox did a video like last week that I shared. He traces it all back in that one video, brings it full circle again, just to remind you people, this didn't start this week, this didn't start 6 months ago. It's been a couple years in the making, and it was started by the central bankers. So take that for, do some research on your own, obviously, but I'd use that as your starting point on that issue. So you got big SHTF on the horizon, a lot of little stuff here, so the preparedness definitely can't stop. Definitely, for sure. Big shout out to the prepared mind, continually pumping out those videos hitting on these topics. He did a really good one about that in particular, about it's time to stop prepping, everything is good. And he went down the whole whiteboard list of how, oh no, it's definitely not good. Definitely the time for preparedness is probably upped a little bit. And I would say here in our area, when I say our, I mean he's just up north of here, not far. They're having their own issues with flooding and snow as well, I'm sure. Gotta get ready for the big and the small. And be well advised. And I decided I had to come out, really get myself kicked, go on a good hike, because Hibernia's son went out today, did a video while I was walking on the treadmill. So I felt kind of guilty. I felt like I need to go do something to really get worked up. So that's why I'm breathing hard, because I want to. And I usually think better like this too, believe it or not, even if you can't understand me necessarily. But so that's a synopsis of what's going on around here. That is a bit of madness, and some stories for you to pull some lessons for yourself, and just a reminder, everything's going on around you, big and small events that could directly affect what you have put in place to prepare for. So as we always say, live free.